Local 4 News begins right now with a breaking news alert.
That breaking news from Capitol Hill, where Watergate looms large as John Dean, the man who witnessed cover-up efforts in the Nixon administration, brings his perspective to the allegations President Trump has sought to obstruct justice.
Mr. Mueller addresses the question of whether President Trump dangled pardons or offered favorable treatment to Michael Cohen, Paul Manafort, and Roger Stone. What's interesting is Richard Nixon, who used the pardon in a similar way, recognized that it was improper.
His words come as the Justice Department agrees to provide Congress with key evidence that could shed light on possible obstruction and abuse of power by President Trump.
It is a very busy Monday afternoon, and we start with breaking news from Midtown Manhattan, New York City, where at least one person has died after a helicopter just slams into a skyscraper. This is the scene near Times Square. Firefighters sent to put out a fire that started when the helicopter tried to crash land on top of that high rise. New York Governor Andrew Cuomo shared his reaction to the report.
As soon as you hear an aircraft hit a building, I think my mind goes where every New Yorker's mind goes.
Right now, officials say the person who died is believed to be the pilot of that helicopter. They say the fire atop the building is out. No one else is injured. They are investigating, though, but believe this was only an accident and not an act of terror. Closer to home, breaking news. A suspect in the East Side serial killer case is formally charged in connection to the stabbing and sexual assault of a 26-year-old woman. This case is separate from the serial killings being investigated. Now, you are taking a look at 34-year-old D'Angelo Martin's mugshot, and we just got that into our newsroom. Meantime, more breaking developments in the serial killer case. The third woman, who was found dead on June 5th near Mack and Mount Elliott, has just been identified as Tamara Jones. You may recall the second victim, Travisine Ellis, was found on May 24th in the area of Lyndhurst and Shaner. And police say the first victim, Nancy Harrison, was found March 19th near I-75 in Coventry. Meantime, we are learning about two women who actually survived attacks, as Martin is charged with one of those crimes today. Priya Mann joins us. She's in Ferndale with a closer look at the developments and what Chief Craig is saying. Priya.
And Karen, Chief Craig said both of these women fought with everything they had to survive. That first woman was stabbed and sexually assaulted in her home. The second woman was attacked just last week. Police say she was dragged into the same vacant home where a third body was discovered. Now take a look. For the first time, D'Angelo Martin appeared before a judge in Detroit. He is charged with sexually assaulting and stabbing a 26-year-old woman on Detroit's east side. Last week, Chief Craig called him a person of interest in a serial killer case. Now, Martin is a suspect, and police believe there could be more victims out there. Since March, the bodies of 3 sex workers were found in vacant homes on Detroit's east side, an area Martin was often seen in. Police say he's homeless. Investigators were up against a lot of challenges, searching through vacant homes and trying to get information from sex workers who, for various reasons, often don't want to come forward. Now, with 2 survivors coming forward, the chief expects some major developments over the next few days. He also spoke about how this investigation was expedited.
We didn't wait for the medical examiner to rule on the second and third deceased persons. What we did, we looked at patterns and similarities. As you heard me say last week, the signature, and it was through that signature that we believed that there was some connection. But again, we are still very much involved in this investigation.
Now, when it comes to more victims, you're looking at a potential 6th. Deborah Reynolds was reported missing last summer. She had a run-in with Ferndale police a month after being reported missing. You're looking at dash camera video from that interaction. Reynolds was with D'Angelo Martin. Police say the pair were drinking beers outside a party store. Ferndale police dropped them off at a Detroit gas station, and that was the last time Reynolds was seen alive. Now Detroit police are looking into Reynolds' disappearance to see if it's connected at all to a number of other cases that could potentially involve Martin. Coming up at 5 and 6, you are going to hear from Ferndale police as well as Reynolds' family. There is a lot to get to, but right now what we know, police have identified 3 women who were killed, 2 survivors now coming forward. We will have the very latest at 5 and 6. Reporting live from Ferndale, I'm Priya Mann. Send it back to you.
All right, thank you very much, Priya. 22 people were arrested after a sting operation by the Genesee County Sheriff's Office into the sexual solicitation of children. The 5-week investigation targeted individuals from all over mid-Michigan who were looking to have sex with underage children. Investigators say they posed as children in online chat rooms and arranged meetings at hotels where they arrested the suspects. The Genesee County Sheriff's Office says they will continue pursuing these cases. A former middle school principal caught on camera searching through a Troy student's home is sentenced to probation. Amy Buchanan was sentenced to 2 years probation after pleading no contest to a charge of home invasion. In court, she apologized to the student's family.
I can't begin to understand how their sense of security and trust were impacted by my actions, and I had no right to bring them or their family into my personal problems.
Police said Buchanan was in the home looking for pills. Buchanan admitted she was addicted to opioids and will be drug tested as part of her sentence. Time now for our first look at the forecast as we take a live look outside through our sky cam, and we send it over to Ben to see how things are shaping up.
Yeah, Karen, the rain's done with us. Clouds haven't left us yet, but you can see this camera starting to move a little bit as those winds are picking up. They're out of the northwest at about 15 to 20, and we could see these gusts over 30 miles an hour at times this evening, but it's a pretty small window when we're going to see those fast winds. Once the sun goes down tonight, we'll lose those gusts. Otherwise, clouds are going to start to thin, so we're going to see mostly clear skies tonight. That does mean some cool temperatures, but it also means some sunshine tomorrow. So we'll look at that and our next chance of rain, which is just around the corner. Surprise, surprise. And it's not the only shot this week. More on that coming up. Karen.
All right, thank you, Ben. We've got some news breaking right now in Washington as a committee in the House of Representatives begins hearings on possible presidential obstruction of justice. Jason Colthorpe joins us from the newsroom with the very latest on that hearing and who is testifying. Jason.
Karen, John Dean, he knows firsthand about obstruction of justice. He was the White House counsel when Richard Nixon was president and the Watergate scandal was coming to light. And many believe his testimony before Congress in 1973 led to President Nixon's resignation. 46 years later, John Dean is back on Capitol Hill to testify before Congress. The House Judiciary Committee began a hearing this afternoon on what it calls lessons from the Mueller report. John Dean was there and he raised parallels between Nixon's discussions of pardons for Watergate figures and talk of pardons in the Mueller report. Also testifying was former U.S. Attorney in Detroit, Barbara McQuade, and what she sees in the Mueller report would be considered obstruction of justice if that person wasn't the President of the United States.
The conduct described in the report constitutes multiple crimes of obstruction of justice. It's supported by evidence of guilt beyond a reasonable doubt, and I'm confident that if anyone other than a sitting president committed this conduct, that person would be charged with crimes.
The hearing is moving forward with majority of Democrats seeking more information about the Mueller report and Republicans saying the report found no wrongdoing on the part of the president. Today, by the way, is the start of the week on Capitol Hill with a focus on President Trump. Today's House Judiciary Committee hearing is the first in a series of hearings planned by the committee on the Mueller report. Tomorrow, the House Intelligence Committee will look at the counterintelligence impact of that report on Russian meddling in the 2016 election. Also, tomorrow, the House will vote to authorize contempt cases against Attorney General William Barr and former White House counsel Donald McGahn for failing to comply with subpoenas. The contempt citation for Barr is on hold because the Justice Department today agreed to turn over some underlying evidence from the Mueller investigation. Now, President Trump has economic and trade issues on his mind today. The president defended the announced new agreement with Mexico on reducing the flow of migrants to the U.S., which came after threats of tariffs. The president also said tariffs could be imposed if Mexico does not hold up its part of the deal. And the president said new tariffs could be levied against imports from China if China's president does not meet with him at an economic summit later this month in Japan. Also today, NBC News has analyzed data from federal reports and found that 24 immigrants have died in the custody of Immigration Customs Enforcement, or ICE, since President Trump took office. That number is below the peak number of 32 deaths reported in 2004, and it does not include migrants, including 5 children who died while in custody this year. We're following a lot of stuff going on right now, Karen. We'll keep up with it. For now, back to you.
All right, a very busy Monday afternoon. Thank you, Jason. We'll see you at 5. Let's switch gears a bit. 10 goats, 3 weeks. Those are the basic details of Ann Arbor's new plan to remove unwanted brush from Gallup Park's 2 islands using an old-fashioned, eco-friendly method, as you can see in this video. Let's get right out to Paula Tutman. And Paula, they are already having a huge impact.
Man, they are making short work of this brush. So where my partner Matt is standing 4 days ago, you would not be able to see me or this tree. But take a look at what these goats have done. Again, this is just in 4 days. So imagine what they're going to be able to do in the next 3 weeks or so. At Gallup Park in Ann Arbor, there are 2 islands. Now, they're visible from the road, but the public hasn't been able to truly access and enjoy these spaces for years.
This is an area that just has a lot of overgrown brush, a lot of invasives. So when we would come onto the island, it looked like we needed to do some work, but it was kind of overwhelming.
But since Thursday, the islands have been taken over by kids, grandkids, and great-grandkids. Goats. Goats from the Twin Willow Ranch of Milan, where goats are us.
Come on, girls. Come on.
It's called goatscaping.
Come on, girls.
And it started out west and has steadily migrated east to the Midwest. Goats used to clear invasive species and overgrown brush. And for the Ann Arbor Parks and Recs, it was an easy decision to jump onto the goat wagon.
We deal with poison ivy and honeysuckle and buckthorn all the time in the park system. It's really hard to keep up with.
They can get into places that machinery can't. Goats are a lot more earth friendly to, they don't leave a big footprint on the ground. The food that they're eating gets digested through their stomachs. They have 4 stomachs, so it gets digested through their stomachs, and what it allows then is when they're dropping their pellets, it's already been eaten to a point where it's just fertilizer.
What goats can get done with their ravenous appetites and relatively little money in a short period of time is amazing.
They like to eat from the top down is what they like to do. So once they're eating you know, and they've gone through and picked up what they like, then they'll come back through and go to the next stuff that they like, and they just keep working their way through until they've got it all, you know, cleared.
Before Thursday, you couldn't see the water for the trees in the brush, but just 4 days of goatscaping and the paths are clear. The water is actually visible, and there is a visual of getting people back onto the islands to enjoy them.
Our hope is to open them up a little bit, and we've got some plans to make some seating area on the island over there and just make it more inviting.
Yeah, this is really incredible goat power. Again, you can see that water line. You could not see that before. By the way, this evening at Gallup Park, there is kind of a goatin' house, open house. You see what I did there? So people can actually come out, see the goats, and get acclimated to understanding that very, very soon they're going to have access to this island. Karen, I know you're wondering about how much money this saves. It would have costed an estimated, they thought about $7,000 or more just to clear these 2 islands. 3 weeks, these goats under $2,000. And that is a huge savings when you're talking about a municipality.
You're not kidding. You get it?
Yep.
I just had to do that. Great story, great live shot. Those goats were very well mannered during your live shot. We appreciate it. Thank you, Paula.